ever think you're smarter than most people around you, or you may wonder if you actually have no clue what you're doing? A few years ago, I was helping a friend with a project. I felt super confident, like I had it all figured out. But halfway through, I realized I was in way over my head. Ever felt that way? Well, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be surprised just how much you can learn about your own mind. And trust me, it's going to make a big difference in how you approach life. Let's talk about the brain. Ever noticed how sometimes when we learn something new, we feel like we've mastered it faster than we actually have? That initial rush of confidence is part of how our brain tricks us. The Dunning-Kruger effect, in simple terms, explains why we might overestimate our abilities in areas we don't fully understand. But it also works the other way. Sometimes, the more knowledgeable we are, the more we doubt ourselves. Sounds confusing, right? Stick with me and I promise it'll make sense. So, what is the Dunning-Kruger effect? Imagine this, you're learning to play the guitar. At first you learn a few chords, maybe even strum along to a simple song. You feel like you're getting the hang of it. Confidence is high, right? But as you dive deeper into music theory, complex strumming patterns, and advanced techniques, suddenly you realize how little you actually know. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. When we know a little, we often think we know a lot. But as we gain more knowledge, we become aware of how much there is still left to learn. This is why experts often feel less confident. They're aware of the vastness of what they don't know. This cognitive bias can appear in all areas of life, from work to relationships to everyday tasks. We've all had moments where we thought we were better at something than we actually were. Maybe it's cooking and you believe you're a great chef after nailing a few recipes, but then you try a more complex dish and it's a disaster. Or perhaps at work, you feel like you've got a handle on a new project only to discover later that you've missed some crucial steps. The point is that the Dunning-Kruger effect happens when we are unaware of our own ignorance. How does it affect decision making? Here's a fun question. Do you trust your own decisions? Well, the Dunning-Kruger effect can influence how we make choices. People who don't know much about a subject might make overconfident decisions, while those who know a lot might hesitate, thinking they're not qualified to make the call. This can create a strange paradox where less experienced people are more decisive, even though their decisions might not always be the best. Meanwhile, experts might second guess themselves. Ever been in a situation like that? It's more common than you think. Why do we fall for this? Our brains love shortcuts. They're designed to make quick decisions to save mental energy. When we are learning something new, our brains uses those shortcuts to boost confidence, which makes us feel like we are progressing faster. This is helpful when we need motivation to keep learning, but it can backfire when we assume we've mastered something too soon. The trick is to stay humble and curious, always willing to learn more even when we feel confident. The question is, can we avoid the Dunning-Kruger effect? The short answer is no, not completely. We're all susceptible to it, but there are ways to manage it. First, by recognizing that it exists. Once you know about the Dunning-Kruger effect, you can start checking yourself when you feel overly confident in a new area. Ask questions, seek feedback, keep learning. Another strategy is to surround yourself with experts and people who know more than you. By doing this, you're more likely to see the gaps in your own knowledge and continue growing. Have you ever been in a group setting where someone confidently speaks about a topic they know little about? Maybe they dominate the conversation, unaware that others know much more. This is a classical example of Dunning-Kruger effect in social scenarios. The less someone knows, the more likely they are to feel confident about it, leading them to overshare or assert their opinions as facts. While the Dunning-Kruger effect makes us overconfident, imposter syndrome does the opposite. People who experience imposter syndrome tend to doubt their abilities even when they're highly skilled. It's like the reverse Dunning-Kruger effect, where competence leads to self-doubt. Someone might have years of experience in a field, yet they feel like a fraud, worried that others will find out they don't know as much as they think. These two phenomena are opposite ends of the same spectrum of confidence and self-awareness. Think about public figures, celebrities, or even friends. Have you ever wondered how some people, despite not being experts, speak so confidently on topics? Classical example is the countless self-proclaimed experts we see online, especially on social media. With a platform to voice opinions, many people overestimate their knowledge in complex areas like finance, health, or politics simply because they have read a few articles or watched a video. The Dunning-Kruger effect explains why so many people feel the urge to speak with authority on subjects they barely understand. What we can learn from this? Understanding the Dunning-Kruger effect teaches us one key lesson. Always stay curious. The moment we think we know it all is the moment we stop growing. It's okay to be confident in what we know, but it's equally important to recognize the limits of our knowledge. By doing so, we stay open to learning, improving, and ultimately becoming more skilled in whatever we pursue. How can we apply this knowledge in everyday life? Now that we've explored the Dunning-Kruger effect and how it works, let's talk about how you can use this knowledge in your day-to-day life. It's not just an interesting psychological concept, it's a tool that can help you become more self-aware and improve your decision making. Here's how. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. This is a good thing. Instead of seeing it as a sign of inadequacy, think of it as an opportunity. Stay curious, read widely, ask questions, and never stop exploring new ideas. Recognizing that there's always more to learn keeps you humble and hungry for growth. Seek feedback regularly. When we're confident, it's easy to dismiss feedback, thinking we've got everything under control. But constructive feedback from others is invaluable for spotting blind spots in our knowledge or skills. Don't be afraid to ask colleagues, mentors, or friends for honest feedback about your performance or understanding of a topic. It helps keep overconfidence in check and opens your mind to areas you might need to improve. Surround yourself with experts. One of the best ways to combat the Dunning-Kruger effect is to spend time with people who know more than you. Their knowledge and expertise will change your assumptions and encourage you to ask better questions. Whether it's through work, friendships, or even online communities, learning from others who have more experience can accelerate your own growth. Be comfortable with uncertainty. Not knowing something is okay. Admitting that you don't know everything can be a powerful step toward learning. Often, the smarter people are the ones who aren't afraid to say, "I don't know, but I'd love to learn more about that." By being comfortable with uncertainty, you allow yourself the space to grow without the pressure of always needing to appear knowledgeable. The link between confidence and competence. Let's dig deeper into the relationship between confidence and competence. You've probably heard the phrase, "fake it till you make it." It's often used to encourage people to act confident, even if they're not expert yet. While confidence can certainly help in some situations, over-reliance on it can lead to poor decision making, especially when competence isn't there to back it up. The key is finding a balance. Confidence should come from knowledge. Real confidence isn't about pretending to know things. It's about knowing that you've done the work to understand something deeply. When you build competence first, confidence will follow naturally. So before jumping into a new area with too much self-assurance, take the time to learn, study, and practice. Beware of the illusion of knowledge. Sometimes we think we know more than we actually do. This illusion of knowledge can be dangerous, especially when we make decisions based on it. The Dunning-Kruger effect wants us to constantly challenge our assumptions and check it for confidence is truly rooted in understanding. This doesn't mean doubting yourself all the time. It just means being honest about what you know and what you still need to learn. Understanding the Dunning-Kruger effect offers valuable insights into how our brains work and how we perceive ourselves. While it's natural to overestimate our abilities at times, the key takeaway is to maintain open to learning and self-improvement. Instead of fearing our knowledge gaps, we should embrace them as a part of the journey toward growth. By staying curious, seeking feedback, and surrounding ourselves with knowledgeable people, we can become more self aware and avoid the pitfalls of overconfidence. So, the next time you're learning something new and feel like you've got it, take a step back and ask yourself, do I really know enough? Or is this the Dunning Kruger effect talking? By doing so, you'll stay on the path of continuous learning, always reaching higher levels of understanding and skills. Thank you.